Let's see if this kitty's got food. What? What is this kitty doing? What does this kitty want from me? This is Sugar Baby. Hey, Sugar Baby. Hey, Sugar Baby. What do you think she's trying to tell me? Anybody know? What's she trying to tell me? Right there. Can use the zoom, super zoom. Aha, there's the evidence. There is the evidence. Uh-huh. Yep. Okay. We got your number, Missy. Alright, I'll get you some food. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa. It's wasp season. It's wasp season. Hey, this camera's actually got better. It says dynamic. It says dynamic stabilization, which I think is better than the camera yesterday. I gotta spray this wasp that's on my truck. Got him. Of course, the wind is blowing right back toward my face. Oh, I see. They're building a nest in the same exact spot in the carport. Not the carport, in the vestibule of the house. Let me show you. One of the benefits of having zoom is I don't have to get close to these monsters. There they are. I don't think I have digital zoom. Digital zoom enacted on this. This is just optical zoom, which means it's full definition. Isn't that crazy? You know, the GoPro won't do that. Look how far back this goes. That is just crazy. Still going, still going. Okay. I'm going to put you on pause, then I'm going to go around back. Sit on the chair. Let me dump some food in their bowl, right? And I'll be right back to you. Alright. I couldn't stand that shaky video from yesterday, and you know I forgot my towel. I'll put this on the table, and I'll go get a towel. Hold on, everybody. Okay, I can take off stabilization, right? Can take off stabilization. Why is this not showing level? Take off dynamic, just on regular. Well, now we are level, by golly. This is the Artcie, ARTCISE tripod head. I'm using the Joby, Joby tripod. It was one that came, it came from the college. It was like thrown out in the trash one summer. This actually has a better This has face tracking too. Alright, what's going on? I moved it a little bit, now it's not level again. Now are we level? The best thing about the GoPro is it has that auto level thing. No matter where you tilt the camera, it's always showing level. Hey little baby boy. This is Bongo's brother. Hey Bongo brother, how are you? I put some food out there for you. Did you go get it? Did you go get your food? Huh? Aren't you the sweet one? He's another miniature cat. He's a mini. Yeah. He's literally a miniature cat. Is this looking okay? Should I tip it down a little bit this way? Right? Tip it down. Of course I would use the... Why don't I use the tripod head? Tip it down. Like that. Because then I'll make it not level anymore. Is that better? You take off my hat. It is all gray out today. Of course you can tell. This is the HF-M40. This one has, I think, a bigger circular lens on it than the other ones. And I'm recording in MXP, which is going to be a big file, but it's also clearer, much clearer file. And just another Goodwill camera. What can you say? Sometimes vintage is okay. Sometimes older things are okay, right? Especially when they're your papa. And for you grandkids out there, for your pop-pop, right? Of course, he's sitting at the corner of the building waiting for a bird, just like Sammy would do, because he knows the birds hop and bop on the ground. I really got to mow this grass. I'm starting to feel more motivated. I started to take the is this coming out okay, everybody? I started to take the rosuvastatin to reduce cholesterol, so maybe that'll thin out my blood a little bit, right? It definitely should, over time, reduce my chance of stroke and heart attack. But is it really a terrible thing to have a fatal heart attack or stroke? You know, with strokes, like with my brother, they're not always deadly, they're debilitating. Sometimes people go blind from strokes, or they become paralyzed on half their body. It goes to their lungs, they can't breathe. It goes to their brain, it can affect vision, movement, all sorts of things. Of course, my brother had the DVT, which is a blockage in his arm. Deep vein thrombosis. What? Don't have another camera. I'd have to use this camera. Whoa. Bet you I could zoom in pretty good on that too. It's only at about 1,500 feet. I think helicopters have to be under 1,500. And if you're flying in a plane that low, you have to be at 1,500 or higher, unless you're landing or taking off. Yeah, my brother had the DVT. So his arm started to turn black and blue. And then of course they give you the brain thinners. You don't need any help thinning out the brain. They gave him the blood thinners, and with the blood thinners his brain started bleeding again. So then they had to give him the the clotting stuff, or take away the blood thinners, and then his he would get the DVTs. So it was a toss-up, you know. Do you live with one thing and die from another, or what is that? But in 2014, he had heart bypass surgery, and the reason I know that is because he didn't tell me he was going through all that. He called me a few days after the surgery, like day 4, and asked me if I could come pick him up and give him a ride home. 2014. So I told him I would be there the next day, which was my day off. 2014. So Monday or Tuesday. It was my day off from the college. And I drove to Orlando in the little red car, Angel. I drove to Orlando, and that South Florida hospital there is one heck of a complex. It must take up like 10 city blocks. Now I parked in the parking garage. There's like 3 or 4 different huge 20-story buildings that make up that hospital, so it's like, how would I know where he's at? But they have like one centralized large parking garage. So I went and parked in the parking garage, and then they have these catwalks, these like enclosed air-conditioned catwalks that go from the parking garage to each building. So I figured once I'm inside one of the buildings, I'll find out where he's at and go from there. And then hopefully the buildings connect inside on one floor or another. Kind of like the hospital. If you want to go from one wing to another, sometimes you got to go down and then come back up again to walk across the connector. So somehow I found his room and found him. And I don't think it was too long, maybe 2 hours before he got his discharge papers. And they wheeled him downstairs. Just like Lakeland, I went down, moved my car over to picked him up from Orlando. I think I had my GPS, my Garmin with me. Now that thing has been a lifesaver because it doesn't tie up your phone, and it's designed for just one thing, for finding your way around. It's not like a phone that you use for your GPS that's you use for like 100 different things. Can you hear me okay? I'm just wondering if I've got I don't think I've got the audio limited on this, but it does show the bar, so it shows that my audio's coming out. It's just not as high as it was yesterday. So I'll boost the decibels. Yesterday I didn't have to boost it at all because it was so loud. Today, if I have to, I'll boost it. When I go into the editing program is where I boost it up. You know, the religious videos, I boost those 6 decibels every day. Because I told you my pet peeve is having, not your videos, but other people's videos on YouTube where you have to crank up your audio. Jim Howard, he's one of them. It's always got audio problems. And keeps complaining about not having any money, and then he just ordered a new cell phone. And he said, yeah, this one device will solve all his audio problems. It's $139. This was like 6 months ago. So he buys it and he gets it. And of course it's way too complicated for him to figure out how to use, and he puts it in his closet. And now we're back to audio problems again. And I feel like sending making a comment on one of his videos. What happened to the Mayoni video box that you got a while back that you said was going to solve all your audio problems? It's just dealing with ignorant, foolish, stupid. I'm sorry I'm saying stupid. I'm just going to have to say it. No, I'll just say foolish. Foolish, ignorant, old people. Okay? Yeah, I'm one of them right here. You know you're getting old and foolish and ignorant when you start complaining about leaving the refrigerator open too long. Right, Angel? Close the refrigerator door. But I'm trying to get a juice box, a drink. Close the refrigerator. That's part of just becoming an old fart, is all there is to it. And if you're my grandkids, put plugs in your ears. Hopefully you're at least 8 years old when you're watching this. But hopefully you grow old enough to be called an old fart or an ignorant, foolish old person. As long as you don't smell like one. Now, whenever I go shopping and I go out to the clinic for an appointment, I put on new pants. Because you don't realize that after 3 days of wearing the same pants, even if you're not working in the yard, that perhaps your pants smell, right? They just smell like they've had a cat on your lap for 3 days, which of course I do. So I always change my clothes before I go out and put on deodorant, because I don't want to be one of those smelly old people. When I go to get my hair cut, I'll do that. Put on a fresh t-shirt. It smells like clean laundry. And some deodorant so that I'm not one of them smelly people. But don't you hate smelly old people? And I'm sure I've come to your house before with 3-day-old pants, and I probably smelled smelly. My car still smells like it's new. Let me see what time we got going here, guys. This is video number 2. Of course, does this one even show 13 minutes? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean that. Of course, it's throwing my level out of Wickawack. The reason it's so late, it's like 11:15. Yeah, this is Throwback Tuesday, or Vintage Tuesday, because we're doing old cameras for the rest of the month instead of the GoPro. And maybe I'll settle on one of these other ones, because they definitely have zoom. And the GoPro doesn't have a zoom. But you gotta admit, the GoPro has the best colors, the best clarity, it's crisp, it's in focus, everything just looks perfect. It's just got a wide lens on it. And it makes you look like using your car dash cam as a camera. You know, riding on the bike with it's perfect because it gives you the whole view across the front. You know, stuff like that, skydiving and things like that. I just got a FedEx package is on the way. Delivery is tomorrow. So I've got two packages coming from FedEx and one from the post office, and they're old cameras. And I'm gonna get another one of the HF-200 cameras that I gave Angel. I'm getting 2 of those, Angel. They were both $19.99. I got the receipt to prove it. And when those get here, I'll end up for vintage, what do you call it? Vintage Camera March, until the big 1-year anniversary. 28th of March, I think, will be 1 year for sure. But I know I made some videos before that. But I think those were unlisted and weren't added to my page, my playlist. I'll have to see if I can find them, because they would be in my videos if I click on content creator. Thank you, Lord Jesus. He's the ultimate content creator. I'm just the content creator of this stuff, just like you guys are. And content creator. And I'll add it to the playlist so that I don't miss any of the first couple of ones, because I know I did it before. I want to say it was the 9th of March is when I got some on my computer. But the first one in this playlist for vlog was the 28th. I'll find out and I'll add them to it. I was just going to mention, yeah, Vintage Camera March. I'll try to have a different camera every day. Maybe tomorrow I'll use the Lake Wales camera, not the Lake Wales, the Lake Gibson camera. The the one from 2010. And I think I told you I got that with the money I had from not calling in sick. Of course, when I left the college, I had over 400 hours of sick time. I didn't get paid a penny for it. Isn't that terrible? If the doctor at the Watson Clinic had given me 4 or 5 days off, I probably wouldn't have quit. I would have felt better and I would have went back to work. But sometimes you just have to understand our ways are not God's ways. And there was a reason why when I went to the clinic that day, the people at the front desk were just so nasty. There was nobody in the waiting room, and she said that I wouldn't be able to see the doctor because I told him I needed a mental health day. I needed to see a psychiatrist, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know, my regular general practitioner, if I told him that I needed a few mental health days, he would say, how many do you need? That's what he would do. And we just don't have doctors like that anymore. We just don't. They're too afraid, right? They give you a prescription for aspirin and they're afraid that you're going to die from it. But I'm what's known as a free kill because I don't have a wife or children under 25, which means if the doctor kills me, you can't sue him. That's what it's called. So I know I locked the front door. Did you guys hear that? But I can really zoom in with this camera. This is nice. It is dark and cloudy out. On the TV, the reason it's so late, see I keep getting off topic. The reason it's so late is there was a Dateline NBC on that I hadn't seen before. It was the one where the retired Indiana state trooper was charged with murdering his wife and 2 children. It was horrible. And he got convicted of it. And the whole time there was a sweatshirt there covered in blood that had some other dude's name on it. And they never sent the blood in for DNA testing. And they never checked the name that was written inside the t-shirt. Well, when they started to prepare his 3rd trial, actually the 2nd trial, they finally ran the DNA and it came back to this guy who had a foot fetish. If you guys remember this one? It's one I hadn't seen before. It was so strange, but then the guy gets convicted a 2nd time, along with now all of a sudden he's got an accomplice. And to me, the police just did such a terrible job. And so they went for a 3rd trial, and that was why I was so late. I had to see what the verdict was. It was not guilty, and he ended up suing the police departments. He spent 13 years in prison. It's just so unfair for murdering his wife and 2 kids. Ah, what is that? That was a leaf. A leaf was attacking me. It's like a bug. You know, it was frustrating, and to see this guy charged with murder and his family, when the whole time there was this other evidence there that they never tested or even checked the name on the sweatshirt. And there was a palm print on the car that the murderer left when he reached in to shoot the little kids in the back seat. And it belonged to the guy. You know, the guy who in the end was convicted the 2nd trial. But in the 3rd trial, he was made out to be a liar because he started coming up with all these stories about how he was really the guy's accomplice. And he didn't touch anybody, but they found his touch DNA on the woman's pants were pulled off, and her socks and her shoes, because he had this foot fetish. And her shoes were on top of the car. It was just so obvious that this guy murdered these people, and the husband was charged with it. So, sure, they always look at the husband, but you'd think that the husband would have a much better plan, especially if he was a retired policeman. And kind of like the guy whose wife, he claims, fell down a flight of stairs, and she had no skull fracture, but a lot of lacerations to her scalp, which they said he used the poker from the fireplace, which was missing. And After, I think after his third trial, before his third trial, he pled guilty to manslaughter so he could just get out of jail. But they found owl feathers in her scalp wound. And they think that as she was coming to get into the house, an owl swept down and got her on the head, because they got big talons. And that because of the blood loss, she started to go upstairs while she was bleeding profusely, because head wounds bleed, you know, scalp wounds bleed. And she got lightheaded and she fell down the stairs, and that's why there was blood, you know, on the walls and stuff. And then later on, they found the poker. The beginning of the guy's third trial, they found this fireplace poker that supposedly he struck her on the head with in the garage. It was there the whole time. And there was no blood on it, no nothing. You'd think she would have had a skull fracture, but she didn't. So these Dateline NBCs can be addictive because they're real, they're true stories of violent crimes. I remember the one where the guy, they said, pushed his wife off a cliff. You guys seen that? I think there were 2 of them like that. And he was found guilty. Another one where the car fell on the lady. His first wife was crushed by a car while she was changing the tire. And his second wife fell off the cliff. So 2 women that were married to this guy died. And of course they both had big insurance policies. So there's your motive, Perry Mason. Benjamin Matlock here for the defense, Your Honor. So just remember, things are not always as they appear. I would think to be convicted of a crime, even though I was not guilty, would be an honorable thing. According to what Jesus said, if you're prosecuted and end up going to jail for something you actually did, you're just getting what you deserve. But if you don't, then it's an honorable thing, and you can hold your head up and be proud, even if you go to jail, especially in matters of the faith. But that's not me talking, that's in the Bible. So, and it's been proven before, after the fact, that they've put people to death that were innocent, because DNA came out after they were executed, and they found somebody else had committed the crime. So, because of that, they would have to pause all deaths, I would think, except in the most extreme cases, like with the guy here in Polk County that killed the sheriff's deputy and taxi cab driver, because they knew he had done it. You know, there was nobody else involved but him. And I think they tried to say, you know, he was really good as a child, but he was hit in the head and abused as a baby. Blah, blah, blah. So that excused him from killing the deputy and this other person. Deputy Burnham Training Center here is named after him. I'm going to let you go now and get in here and get this edited and uploaded. It says here my face doesn't match on my phone. It looks like it's going to rain, guys. Remember that I love you. Watch some Dateline NBC. That, what do you call it? The one Nana used to watch all the time. Law and Order. That's all kind of fictional. It's not true. Even though it's very interesting. And if you're going to watch something that's at least going to elevate your mental status. Hopefully it's something that's true and you'll learn something from it. That's why I think we like to watch Dateline NBC, because they're true stories of things that actually happened, and to see how people try to get away with things. And Perry Mason, yeah, at the end it's really crazy that somebody would utter in court, yeah, I did it, I killed him. He got on my nerves just one last time and I strangled him. That was the one today. He put his arm across the guy's neck. But the guy had set up his best friend and his wife to make it look like they had murdered him, but he was supposedly going to recover from that. I guess that's it. I love you guys. Remember, God loves you together and forever. I and God will always love you. In time, which is now, and in eternity, which is forever. I think about eternity often because it's the one big mystery that we all have to find and experience. When time is no more, when time ends, what exactly is it? There is no resurrection if you're in eternity, because here we wait, and once you're gone, you don't. So it's this big mystery. You've already been judged, and you've met the resurrection, and you're living, physically living somewhere else in a risen body. That's the way I see it. Kind of like the Matrix, where you're actually living in this pod and then living here as part of the Matrix. And when they free you, like they did Neo, they take your body out of the pod and they free you from the grasp of the Matrix. But yeah, just interesting stuff. That, remember, videos ago I used to say that a lot of things will become true that we saw in science fiction in the last 10 years. Just like 100 years ago. But I just keep going on, and I shouldn't. So sorry to bore you to death. Go see how this video came out. The one yesterday had way too much brightness. Angel, I have to put some powder on my forehead when I come outside, right? May God allow us to be reasonably happy in this life, supremely happy forever in the next. And with His blessing, I will get to see you tomorrow, if God permits it, that is. Watch the religious channel, everybody. Give me a thumbs up if you can. Bye. I'll be on a different camera tomorrow. Goo. Goo. Hey, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. I love you too. What a pretty cat.